The Alleghany Journal runs into a bunch of characters in the Alleghany Highlands region, but none more successful than Josh Taylor, the executive director of the Alleghany Highlands Chamber of Commerce and Tourism. Welcome, Josh.
Thanks, Jerry. Appreciate you having me today.
Josh, you just got started in April of last year, and you've had, what appears to be a host of successes. And one of the successes we wanted to talk about today is known as the Virginia Rural Leadership Institute, of which you're a graduate. Can you tell the public, what did that program all involve?
Yeah, it's a really great program, and I kind of have what their mission is here in front of me because I think it's important to kind of see what they say about it. It's considered the first leadership program focused on retaining, attracting, and developing rural Virginians. So it's really, you're with like-minded people from rural areas, developing them into innovative, responsible, and civic-minded leaders who build strong local and regional communities, bringing rural prosperity across the entire Commonwealth. So as you can imagine, it's a perfect fit for someone from the Alleghany Highlands, being a rural community. You go through all throughout the state over the course of a year, 4 or 5 different locations, meeting elected officials, you're networking. And I think probably the most beneficial aspect of it is you're with people that are going through the same things you are, people in rural communities, people who face the same challenges, who are looking for a lot of the same funding, who have a lot of the similar ideas and growth tactics. So it was exciting to be a part of something with people that are very similar in similar situations as I am.
Well, this is an uplifting concept just, on its base, but I guess what part of it at least is it, all right, so you get to talk to maybe state senators, mayors, maybe members of the business community, and to some degree, it's like a networking. Is that correct? Where you hear about problems that may be similar to yours or prospects, and you get to share great ideas as well.
Yeah, you definitely get to meet. Every place we would go, there would be multiple elected officials there who represented those areas. And you don't just get to meet them, you're kind of having breakfast with them, you're having lunch with them, you're having meaningful conversations with them. So that's a huge aspect of it. As you mentioned, the networking is a really big deal. I have expanded my network tremendously just in this program. And like I say, again, it's not people that I'm meeting in Northern Virginia who have budgets 10 times the size of ours. It's people who have similar budgets and similar struggles and similar successes that you can really bounce ideas off and really make some meaningful progress that way. And I'd say the third part of it is there's a lot of leadership training, a lot of capacity building. There's an educational standpoint of it. So you're really learning, how to be a better leader and take that back to your community and have it translate into your community, which is exciting.
Josh, you've been a part of a number of really cool outdoor events, and I'm not sure how other chamber directors view what you've been doing, and Teresa, but like the marathon, half marathon kind of thing, the 1 mile swim, these are apparently small portions of what you do, admittedly, but they're bringing in people that have either never seen the Highlands before or want to return. And it's these kinds of concepts, in addition to these other more formal talks you've been having, that these are just beautiful, innovative, and productive concepts.
Yeah, the outdoor events are a huge aspect of what we do. Like I said, it's really just 3 weekends out of the year, but it's 6 or 7 months of planning, really. And it's, a small staff. There's 3 full-time, 3 part-time, and the marathon event specifically, you're well over 400 people plus their families. You're thinking 800-900 people at the trailhead at Intervale, with a whole team of volunteers. But we always do an economic impact study after those events, and we put that in our annual report this year. It was just under $200,000 of direct economic impact for the Alleghany Highlands community based off just those 3 outdoor events this year. I think it was 96% of all those participants were from outside the region. So they were staying in our hotel, shopping in our stores, eating in our restaurants, getting gas at the gas station. So it's a really big deal for economic impact.
Your members must be delighted, Josh. It's not just our view, but at a recent annual dinner, the 46th annual dinner, you had nearly 500 people at a dinner, and we were kind of chuckling. We kept seeing people come in, and I thought, I wonder if Josh is staffed up for this many. I guess she knew in advance, but I mean, we had never seen that many, and come to find out, it was it was a record number of people to show up for the dinner, right?
Yeah, yeah, it was, like I said, it's a huge crowd. We were excited about it. We knew it was a challenge just with a smaller staff to welcome that many people. Obviously, we had help from the Greenbrier as well, but like I said, a hugely successful dinner. It was a great time just celebrating business in the Alleghany Highlands. It went so well, and like I said, our staff's relatively new. There was a lot of turnover initially, and they did such a great job for not working the event before. And just there was a ton of community support. Definitely want to shout that out. There were 58 tables, and 33 of them were sponsored. So a lot of community support. And I also want to thank our board. They were very integral in helping us and always just asking where they could help, what they could do. And an organization is only as strong as their board is. And I want to give them a shout out too, because it was a very successful night, and we're looking forward to next year already.
Well, what was really cool, and of course, it was similar to events in the past, but it seemed like just an evening of the celebration of the best of the Highlands, successful people getting a little bit of recognition for a whole year or more of work with the community and or teaching. I mean, it was just really a cool evening.
Yeah, it's always fun when you get to celebrate small business in Alleghany Highlands, and the awards. We're awarding volunteers, educators, small business, large business, nonprofits. It's just there's a whole gamut of businesses in the region, and it's so exciting to see their hard work paid off and how excited they are. And even if you're nominated and you don't win, just to be nominated, that's a big deal. And
yeah, I noticed that. That was cool. Yeah.
We want to make sure we shout those people out too, because I mean, just incredible success this year. We had 41 new members over the past year. I'm pretty sure that's a record as well. 19 ribbon cuttings, and that just shows how excited people are about doing business in the Alleghany Highlands right now. And we're just excited to be a part of the ride.
Well, thanks for all you do. We had heard about this Rural Leadership Institute program, but we hadn't heard you say much about it. And so this, in addition to just the normal things you do, I guess this networking, this, expanded knowledge, especially from the people who, they're not theorists. These are people, mayors and state senators, who deal with these kinds of issues all the time, and you've got to be a part of it. So we appreciate you taking the time to let us know what you've been up to. And thanks again for that leadership on your part.
Yeah, I wanted to highlight one more aspect of that program that is pretty cool. In order to graduate, you had to do a community impact project, and you had to bring that back to your community and actually implement it there. And that was part of the graduation process. And mine is going to be to put the first public EV electric vehicle chargers in the downtowns of Covington and Clifton Forge. Right now, there's no public EV chargers in the Alleghany Highlands at all. And so from a tourism perspective, which we are in tourism, that's a whole group of visitors that you just kind of miss. As a community that's right along the interstate, they're not, they're all around us. They're in Greenbrier County, they're in Botetourt, they're in Lexington, they're everywhere. So as a community right off the interstate, you're probably just, if you're traveling with an EV, you're probably just going to go to the next community and charge up. So now that we'll have these, and we hope to have them installed very soon, that's a new visitor we'll reach. And then the second part of it is that we're putting them really strategically close to downtown shopping and dining. So they're the 2-hour charger. So you'll get off the interstate as this visitor, and you'll charge up, and now you're just steps away from a good bite to eat or some nice shopping. And so we're just increasing visitor expenditures, and at the same time, we're going to be supporting our small business community, which really that's chamber and tourism, which is exactly what we are, and that's why it's going to be impactful. And I'm really excited to see that come to fruition soon.
Wow, that is, the charger idea is really great. I'm sure that's one you can share with the Institute this next time. And we've seen the announcement for Clifton Forge. I'm not sure I can remember where they're going to be in Covington.
Yeah, the locations we're looking at right now, and it's not official. We had looked at the library lot area. We had looked at around the farmers market, but we want to have where we have some at the bottom of Main Street and some at the top of Main Street, and the same goes for Clifton Forge. We've gotten one delivered in Clifton, and we're still waiting one more there. And then I got word today that Covington's will be on the way soon. So we went through a grant process. We worked with the Roanoke Valley Alleghany Regional Commission. We worked with a company called Virginia Clean Cities, and really just kind of a shout out to both Alan Dressler and Chuck Unroe for their involvement and their support of me throughout this process in the chamber, and really just being a cheerleader of what I was doing so that it could happen, in those localities, because it is going to be a great benefit, and we're really excited about it.
Wow, thanks for the good positive news, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.
Yeah, thank you so much, Gary. We really appreciate it.